Thursday, April 19. This is the news on PBCJ. I am Simone Absalom. The legal fraternity got a shot in the arm on Wednesday with the addition of 2 new elevators at the Supreme Court building in downtown Kingston. This is the planned expansion of the court. Addressing the handing over ceremony, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck said that $35 million had been spent on the courtrooms and to restore the elevators.
Today's ceremony really is on the heels of a contract signed in yesterday for $845 million to renovate the public building west, and that will ensure that the Court of Appeal has at least 13 additional chambers for the Court of Appeal, 3 additional Court of Appeal, and really courtrooms, and really nice facilities that was originally the Accountant General's office.
He said the government is committed to improving the infrastructure of courts across the island as part of the improvement in the dispensation of justice.
We are determined that the justice system should get its fair share of resources. We have only just begun, and the Prime Minister has committed that in the next fiscal year, whatever resources the justice system needs, we are going to fight to ensure that it gets it. So, Chief, you are coming in as a new Chief Justice at a time when you have a minister and a government that are prepared to not only emphasize justice as a top priority. Indeed, the national priority right now is the rule of law and timely justice.
Opposition leader Dr. Peter Phillips wants Prime Minister Andrew Holness to address the issue of problem-plagued Cornwall Regional Hospital, the CRH, saying that the head of government needs to speak to the 1-year delay in implementing the Ministry of Health recommendation to evacuate the facility. Dr. Phillips, who was addressing a press conference at the Wexford Hotel in Montego Bay following a tour of CRH, along with Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, said someone should be held responsible for the health problems experienced by the hospital since the recommendation was made. He was supported by opposition spokesman on health Dr. Dayton Campbell, who said the data shows that over 2,000 visits have been made to the staff clinic. Meanwhile, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says he explained to the opposition, as best as he could, the government's plans for the hospital. However, he contends they may not have been listening while he detailed the plans. The Health Minister also admits the changes aren't ideal, but suggests that progress is being made. Jamaica Manufacturers Association says new and emerging local industries and innovative products will be the highlight of Expo Jamaica, which opens this evening at the National Arena in Kingston. The annual event, which showcases the best of Jamaica's manufacturing sector, will run until Sunday, April 22, with the public viewing days being Friday and Sunday. The booth competition will take place today through to Saturday, and the booth awards ceremony will be on Sunday. Inter-American Development Bank Caribbean Country Department General Manager Therese Turner-Jones says the Jamaica labor force must be equipped to operate in a world characterized by rapidly evolving technology. Addressing a recent labor market forum at the Terranova All Suite Hotel, she said it is imperative to empower Jamaicans to embrace technology by enabling them to thrive in an environment that is constantly changing, thereby preparing them for a career that entails lifelong learning.
Colleagues, business is still booming. Let us innovate to ensure that as business booms, the labor market is relevant and optimized and that people's lives are improved. It is imperative to empower Jamaicans to embrace technology by enabling them to thrive in an environment that is constantly changing, preparing them for a career that entails lifelong learning.
Turner-Jones noted that the president of Northeastern University in the United States, Dr. Joseph Ione, in his book Robot Proof: Higher Education in the Age of Artificial Intelligence, lays the framework for a new discipline called humanics, which aims to provide the tools for people to compete in a technologically driven world. Humanics builds on the innate strengths and prepares students to compete in a labor market in which smart machines work alongside human professionals. The Police High Command says it has been working to ensure innocent persons detained under the state of emergency in St. James do not lose their jobs. Public Defender Arlene Harrison Henry has called for an end to the state of emergency, saying young people are being rounded up randomly, with some being fired from their jobs when they are finally freed. The Police High Command has disclosed that 1,724 people have been processed since the start of the state of emergency in St. James. It says of that number, 133 have been charged, with 56 being charged with major crimes, to including murder, shooting, robbery, and rape. 68% increase in obesity for children in the 13 to 15 age group within the last 7 years. That's according to Dr. Tamu Davidson, who is the Director of Non-Communicable Diseases and Injury Prevention at the Ministry of Health. She told Nationwide News yesterday the findings are alarming. The rates among boys in that age group almost doubled from 5.3% in 2010 to 10.3% in 2017. That's even higher than the girls, who are not far behind, with an increase from 6.7% to 9.9% in 2017. Nutritionist Shannon Grant agrees that despite the ministry's drive to reduce sugary beverages in children's diet, sugar is not all evil. She blames the fatty meals and sugary beverages as well as technology for the growing numbers among our teens. In regional news, the Castro brothers' 6-decade grip on power in Cuba is almost at its end. On Wednesday, the country's National Assembly named number 2 Miguel Diaz-Canel as the sole candidate for the presidency.
The National Assembly on Wednesday nominated first Vice President Miguel Diaz-Canel as its sole candidate to succeed 86-year-old Raul Castro, who is stepping down after 2 5-year terms. The nomination of Diaz-Canel, a 57-year-old technocrat, essentially guarantees that he will be confirmed by the 604 delegates at the National Assembly. The Assembly generally approves presidential candidates with near total unanimity. Diaz-Canel has served as Vice President of the Council of State, the country's highest governing body, since 2013, when he was appointed by party leadership and approved by the National Assembly. Also on Wednesday, a 72-year-old former union official, Salvador Valdez Mesa, was nominated by the National Assembly as Vice President.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago on Tuesday suffered a setback in what is said as the corruption case against officials of the Housing Corporation over a land deal. We have more in this report.
Against former Managing Director of the Housing Development Corporation, Julian John, and 9 others is far from over. Faris on Wednesday afternoon to set the record straight after a newspaper headline implied that government was dealt a major blow in its fight against white-collar crime. He said the government did not lose the Eden Gardens land case and intends to file the documents in the matter.
And Miss Julian John in particular, the deputy political leader of the United National Congress, who is claiming vindication by the courts in Trinidad and Tobago, I want to say to her, not so fast, Julian.
In sports, seasoned wicket-keeper and batsman Danish Ramdin says he is still hopeful of making a test comeback, especially after being retained in the West Indies 2020 squad for the rest of the World 11 fixture in London next month. The 33-year-old returned to the international side for the first time in 17 months earlier this month, when he toured Pakistan for the historic 3-match T20 series in Karachi. His selection comes against the backdrop of his heavy scoring in the first-class season when he piled up 799 runs at an average of 61, including 3 centuries. And that's the news. Do stay with us. The weather report is next. This is PBCJ's weather report. Thanks so much for staying with us. Let's start as usual with our local currents. We're looking at Kingston. This afternoon, we can expect temperatures between 25 and 29 degrees Celsius in Kingston. We're seeing that the sun came up at 5:50 a.m. and it's set to go down at 6:33 p.m. As well, the temperature, we're seeing a lower temperature at just about 23 degrees Celsius for this evening. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast for Kingston. We're looking over the weekend into next week. We're looking at sunny skies forecast for Friday, but we could be getting some scattered showers over the weekend. We're seeing a 50% chance of rainfall. We're also seeing temperatures between 23 and 30 degrees Celsius in the next 7 days. So we could be seeing some warm temperatures out, but we could also be seeing some scattered showers in certain areas as well. Let's take a look at what could be happening over there in Montego Bay, St. James. Today, we're seeing temperatures between 23 and 29 degrees Celsius, and ensure that you pack accordingly and dress accordingly because we're seeing a forecast of possible showers over there in St. James. We're also seeing cool temperatures this evening in some areas. You can expect it to be as cool as 7 degrees Celsius. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast for Montego Bay. We're seeing sunny skies throughout the weekend, but there's a 60% chance of rainfall on Sunday. We could be getting some rainfall in Montego Bay on Monday. We're also seeing warm temperatures between 23 and 29 degrees Celsius. Now for a look at what could be happening across the island today. We're expecting rainfall in certain areas like Negril over there in Ocho Rios. We're seeing cloudy conditions expected for St. Thomas, but it should be pretty sunny out in the eastern and central parts of the island. We're also seeing temperatures between 29 and 32 degrees Celsius. In our forecast for tomorrow, we're seeing temperatures between 28 and 32 degrees Celsius. We're also seeing a forecast of rainfall in the eastern end and in the northeastern end of the island. We could be getting possible showers over there in Negril as well. In our forecast for the weekend, we're looking at the Caribbean forecast now. We're seeing temperatures between 29 and 31 degrees Celsius. We're seeing a forecast of rainfall for certain countries over there in Antigua, rainfall for Grenada, and we could get some rain in certain parts of Mexico and over there in the Bahamas as well. We're seeing temperatures between 28 and 31 degrees Celsius. And further afield over there in the United States, in areas like Los Angeles, Miami, New York, and Atlanta, warm temperatures forecast for Miami, but cloudy conditions forecast as well. Strictly sunny skies forecast for tomorrow for Los Angeles and Atlanta. And that's it for the weather report. Thanks so much for making it PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom. Pleasant viewing.